Hello everyone. Before we start today's episode, let's step out from the story for a moment and talk about something in Hearts of Iron 4 that has cost me a lot of grey hairs and has taken me hundreds of hours to actually eventually figure out what I was doing wrong. And that's to talk about the speed of tank divisions. So generally, the purpose of tank divisions is to be an armored spearhead to break through, exploit, and to rapidly outrun infantry and exploit the space that is created by a breakthrough. For that, you need to maintain a relatively decent speed stat on these things. Now, one thing that can happen is that, or what happens is that the speed is determined by the slowest vehicle in the division. Now, you would say, well, that's not a problem, right? I have my medium tanks. My medium tanks have a speed of X, and, well, that's what it is. Yes, only that medium tank is a class, whereas you are producing all kinds of medium tanks. And that's where division equipment comes in. So, for example, I have here prohibited interwar medium tanks because the Sturmpanzerkampfwagen 2 has a max speed of 5 kilometers. So if I was to allow any of these into the divisions, the template would have 8 kilometers an hour max speed, but in practice, the divisions would be mostly as fast as a regular infantry division, simply because there might be a single Sturmpanzerkampfwagen 2 bumbling along with them, and everybody has to wait for it to catch up. Now it gets even better, and that is foreign equipment, because you can capture tanks. If you capture enemy tanks, even though they might be part of the basic or improved medium tank chassis class, and then they'll just be thrown in. Like, for example, the Russian T-34 is here. So these things, at least, are doing 7.3 kilometers, so it's not too bad. But still, they are actually, while they are about as modern as our Panzer IVs, they are not quite as fast. So in practice, again, we would start capturing these. They would be thrown into the divisions as reinforcements, and suddenly in practice my divisions would slow down. Which is why I'm generally manually managing and just disallowing foreign equipment. You say, easy, you're done, right? Well, it's not that easy, unfortunately. And the reason for that is that when you do this, you don't automatically get new tank variants into the division templates. So you actually here, these two were actually disallowed, and I was actually stuck with the older Panzer IIIs. So I've had some Panzer IVs in stockpile, and I started having some Panzer IVs in stockpile, and the division template actually didn't have them included. And the same goes not just for those, but it also goes for things like self-propelled artillery. So what you have to do here is, whenever you're coming up with a new template, you actually have to adjust your division and make sure that it's included. And yeah, in the heat of storytelling, I actually forgot about that. So that's been rectified. Actually, that's been rectified a couple of episodes ago. I just forgot to talk about it. So I figured I'd pull that up, because if you are looking at the actual speed of a division, and you'll be very surprised, and we find a tank division here. So if we look at the 4th Panzer, right now the max speed is 1.2 kilometers, but the actual top speed is 7.4 kilometers, as you can see, not the 8. And it breaks it down for you here. You've got 7.4 kilometers an hour on the medium tanks, 7.9 on the mechanized, so that'd be fine. But it's the ones that's slowing it down, and the reason for that is that we've still got a bunch of Panzer IIIs in here, because of course we haven't replaced everything with the Panzer IVs yet. So in practice, these divisions are not as fast as they would be otherwise, and it's also the Waffenträger, and we've got a couple of the Flammpanzer IIIs here as well. So everything counts. And this is one of those things that's really easy to forget, and you lose one of the most important factors of the tank divisions. But yeah, that aside, let's get back to the story. In France, the tank divisions are consolidating our gains near Paris, around Paris, and we get ready for the next push. We are just waiting for the Marine divisions to actually finally become fully equipped. They're still waiting for some equipment. So given that the Norwegian front is currently quiet as well, we'll focus a bit on the Indochina and Siam War. Let's clear out this cauldron here and start pushing towards the port and we can also from here just support in the north. All right, we've repelled counterattacks near Bangkok, and we've got the Landwasserschlepper completed. Now the Landwasserschlepper, it's not the one we just completed. Oh no, that's the amphibious tank. No, the Landwasserschlepper is is the infantry fighting vehicle version of the half truck. So that's something that we can start using for the marine divisions. But also, I think we're already doing field hospitals. This is ahead of time. We are building armored trains, which we're actually relatively short on, so I have increased that a little bit. But yeah, I am thinking of improving the Marines a little bit. Give 5% soft attack and 5 organization, or the Mountaineers. I will do Marines because we are going down that route, and we have 118 Navy experience. I could also start going down the Special Forces trees because alternatively we can get a better naval doctrine. We are about to have the carriers released, so I'm actually thinking of getting the subsidiary carrier role here. I think carrier production is going to complete in a couple of days. We're at 19th of May. Yeah, the Graf Zeppelin class carriers are outfitted and are running their trials at the moment and almost ready for combat. So that's good, and that means we can probably take the subsidiary carrier role. Done with that, and let's get. That was it, I think. Anything that we need to look at in terms of research? We've got new ace pilots, so that's all good to see. But other than that, I think there's no decision that's currently pending. Not really. We still have the future of the army decisions, but we'll get that when we get to that, when we actually continue with the modernization efforts. The Swiss wants to send divisions. Okay, sure, we'll take them. We'll take the Swiss, the help from the Swiss. More than happy to. And we will continue to push towards the port. We'll get another assault division that way coming in, just to cut them off from supply, because I think right now they probably still have supply. Yeah, they would still have supply to the port. So taking the port and cutting off supply to the divisions in the rear is the primary task. We have some naval battles where we are taking on Japanese submarines, and we are sinking a few enemy submarines, otherwise nothing important. And we are spotting an enemy task force in the channel. Most of it is there's a single heavy cruiser, and first Schlachtgeschwader is moving to engage, but there's probably a French group coming in as well. So let's take a quick look. First Schlachtgeschwader does need to repair though, but they are still in the area. So they're currently trying to intercept that British heavy cruiser. Let's see if they can join battle. I think they escaped to Portsmouth. All right, so we'll send the first Schlachtgeschwader to repair, and second is repairing. So we'll have both currently on repair. But we have the SMS Graf Zeppelin and the Peter Strasser, our first two carriers in the Kaiserliche Marine and in the High Seas Fleet. So these need to be outfitted, actually, I think. Let's have a look at the air groups on these. Currently we've got 80 naval bombers, so I might want to actually change that slightly. And let's get that sorted. They need to train, and they would need some they will need some escorts as well. Okay, and here are our carrier air groups. So each of the Graf Zeppelin class carriers is carrying 3 wings of torpedo bombers, 2 fighter wings, and 3 fighter wings, and 2. Actually, I think it's 4 torpedo bombers. Hang on, 3 fighter groups, 3 fighter groups, 2 dive bomber groups, and 3 torpedo bomber groups. There we go. That's the layout. So. They are, well, currently deployed, but the fleets are repairing, so they will not see combat just yet. We have once again, after taking Le Havre, encircled 3 French divisions here, so we'll just quickly wipe these out, and we can widen the lines from the rear. And we're getting close to Verdun in the north. But for now, we'll hold the lines here until the Marines are ready for combat in the south, and we will concentrate on. We'll just have to keep an eye out for. We'll have to keep an eye out for naval battles, but we'll concentrate on. We will concentrate on Indochina for now. So, where we have actually been, by the looks of it, quite successful in taking the port. So the 3rd Infantry Division is moving in to the enemy port. This will cut off all their supply, and from there on, I think we'll counterattack here actually. So we'll send the 914th to counterattack in the north, so to free up the 3rd Infantry taking the port of Sattahip, and from there on, we'll wipe out the encircled troops here. And then, there we go, and we can join combat over here. And then from there on out, we will move to the front line, and then we will make our way along the lines of supply. First target through the plains is the supply hub at Nakhon Sawan, and then we'll move north into the jungle and mountains to the mountain capital of Chiang Mai, which is the last stronghold of the Siamese kingdom. And then German East Asia will take over Siam, and from there on out, we should be free for other operations. Haven't really seen any Japanese naval invasions, so that's a good sign. But there are Americans in the area. So, oh no, these are Hawaiian troops. Sorry, it looked very similar. No, these are actually Hawaiian troops holding this. Okay, it's all good now. This is part of the Hawaiian group. Americans are still way over there. So, Chinese still standing near Pyongyang. So let's wrap this up here. How are the Germans doing in the south? I think they've come to pretty much to a stalemate and a holding way north of Singapore. So Singapore is secure. That's the important part. Lots of resources in Singapore, and that's something we need to be careful about, that we are not that we're not losing it. But this will be 6 divisions of the Kingdom of Siam that have been encircled and that will be destroyed. But we do have now some free dockyards, and I think. Given our relative lack of escort ships, I think how do we have now? We've got 2 carriers in the 2nd Schlachtgeschwader, more to come. We've got, so it's got 5 and 16. It's a little short, and we've got 4 and 15 is also slightly short. So I think we are very short on destroyers at the moment. And we've got a couple of ships in reserve. I've got 2 more carriers and a Zander class that can go out, but we've got the Seydlitz and the Europa now. So all carriers are complete, which means I can. I think I'm going to put them all into the 2nd Schlachtgeschwader for now. But that means the 2nd Schlachtgeschwader is going to need a lot more destroyer escorts. So with the newly freed up dockyards, we are going to get ourselves more destroyers. Now, I was researching, better depth charges, but it's still 40 days off. So I'm not yet going to change the destroyer template. For the fleet, I'm just going to get the Zerstörer 1941 going for now. That was the template that still needs a depth charge thrower. So we may as well change it now. It's a waste of Navy experience because we've got to upgrade it again in 40 days. Let's send the before we do that, can we? Oh, we have the welding specialists already set in the Germania Werft. Good. So let's get one going. And we've got a couple of dockyards being used to repair ships. So currently the repair queue. A couple of cruisers coming back out, but Gneisenau is going to be repaired soon, and in the heavies in Dublin, 15 days, then we get the Elsass back in operation. So that is good to know. Lots of ships in repair, and we have the 10th Panzer Division. That means we are going to be able to start building up a force for potential counterattacks against Russian incursions. Given that the Russian Schwerpunkt is in Ukraine, and the rest of the whole northern front has basically been static throughout the first half of the year, I am going to start deploying these to Ukraine. Now, do we have? We have Guderian's 15th, and I think that's currently a bit of a mixed bag of infantry and other things. So I think we'll start sending the tank divisions to Guderian. How's our stockpile on things in general? We are short on support equipment. We're short on infantry equipment as well. And we are actually losing more infantry equipment than we are gaining. Same with self-propelled artillery. So we might have to upgrade the production a little bit there. I wasn't aware that most of this is from deployments, but we are currently losing more infantry equipment than we are producing. That is surprising, given that we actually have a relatively strong production of infantry equipment, I thought. But it should hold itself. It should hold itself up. We can probably get the production efficiency up still a little bit, and eventually, support equipment on 5 should have been enough. Don't really want to increase that, but tanks and artillery. 5 on artillery, 15 on tanks should be enough. Well, we'll give it a bit of time. Regular artillery we're running low as well. So I think there's a lot of reinforcement currently going on, which is good. It's a good time to pause the combat operations in France for a bit, where we have destroyed the group north of Rouen that was encircled at the coast, and that was another 25,000 French troops that have surrendered. There is. That's a Dutch group currently fighting, so nothing large. None of our groups are currently engaged. We are sinking some Russian ships, but I think we'll deal with that. But what I was curious about initially, when I was going in first place, was the half trucks. How is our supply of half trucks looking? And that would be below all the planes. And we have about 200 stockpiled. Do we still have any tank divisions that need upgrading? I don't think so. I think they are. Oh no, the 5th Panzer actually needs to be upgraded. Do we have? Yeah, we have enough. So upgrade the 5th Panzer, and I think the ones that Guderian is getting, are they already using half trucks? No, they're still using trucks. Okay, so Guderian's divisions need to be upgraded as well. I think we need to generally, we definitely need to upgrade the production of a Sonderkraftfahrzeug. Which one is it? I can't actually see it because it's too long. It is the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 11, the special motorized vehicle 11. Not building the LWS yet, so the amphibian tractors, but that needs to. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. I thought we were on a new line. That was unfortunate. I was planning to create a new line, not change an existing one. There we go. Lost me a bit of production equipment there, but such administrative production efficiency, such administrative errors do happen. So No MIOs for the LVS, so Opel can't actually get to that. But get me 5 on that eventually. Are we still building military factories? We are. Can we still build more military factories? Not quite. We are pretty much built out at this point. But we can start building them up in occupied French territory. That is. So that would work. The next one would be if once we get to the industrial research for dispersed 5, which is still quite a way away. But one thing we can do, now that the construction, we can replace Thyssen with, where was he? There was Fritz Tano? Yes, Fritz Tano. So we can replace him with Fritz Tano, who gives us an additional 10% max factories. So that's a few factories extra that we're going to get. Is there anything better? I was kind of interested to get Ufa because there was an improvement to that, but there's really not much. Like there'll be some good things like 5% speed on tanks. That would be very lively to take that. But I think for Fritz Tano to replace Thyssen would be a good choice. So we'll use the next 150 political power to make that happen. Anyway, we do have enemy planes up in the air over the Baltic states again, so we can launch the fighters and get on. Actually, I might just leave them on interception. So we'll leave them on interception, and that way they only be launching if there's actually anything going on. The Ukrainians are still fighting a losing battle in the retreat from Poltava. We are holding the line here at. I think the supply situation is the supply is getting a little overloaded. So we do also need to improve. We're still building up the fortifications, but we do need to improve the supply lines here. So let's get that scheduled because the Ukrainians won't be doing it. Oh, it's improving port facilities. That's interesting. Why a port okay, that's not quite what I'm thinking it should be. Let's have a look at the supply lines. Bottlenecks are from Kiev, and a big part of the problem is that it's damaged. So we can potentially, it's a level 3 railway towards Kiev. And Kiev is in the north here, so all we need to do is improve that and prioritize the repair of the Kiev railway, which we can't because it's not in my. Yeah, it's not actually my own railway, so I can't actually prioritize repairing it. However, I will prioritize repairing the railway guns. Okay, I think that's probably the best we can do. So. To improve the supply situation a little bit. We've got some Polish tanks some Polish light tanks on the ground here as well. But Guderian's new tank divisions, and right now it's just one, but there are more to come. Where have I? Okay, Guderian is holding the north, so I'm going to start getting the 10th Panzer into the southern area, but we're not going to put them on the front lines. They are going to be used as a fallback, just about behind the lines here. And if there are any breaches, then the tanks can roll in to counter that. But let's get back to Indochina, where we are almost complete in destroying the remaining Siamese troops here. They're holed up in the jungle, but they have nowhere to go. And then we will concentrate on moving north, which means we can actually. Oh, von Manstein's gotten himself wounded. That is unfortunate. In bringing the battle to a successful conclusion, it seems Erich von Manstein put himself a bit too much risk while leading his men. He's been wounded and it will take likely some time for the wounds to fully heal. Until that time, he will not be performing his usual duties. Alright, we'll have a lull in the fighting while von Manstein is recovering. But I do want the assault divisions to concentrate north for the push along the railway, so that should be a good. And we'll need to actually give Paulus's troops a new offensive order, which is to take the enemy capital of Chiang Mai, and that should be it. Okay, and then there we go. Let's wrap things up in Siam until the troops are destroyed. 7 divisions all in all in the jungle, and they are out of supply, they're out of food, they're out of ammunition. They're trying their best to hide, but in the end they're not getting away. They are now encircled, and that means they are surrendering, or they're dying between the trees, or they disappear into the jungle never to be seen again. That was 3 of them, and I will attack from the north as well here just to clear this out. Material support from the Swiss and from South Africa, much appreciated. 5 divisions are still fighting, still holding out, but one by one they are surrendering to the onslaught from multiple directions. And then once that's cleared, we get the divisions back into place and launch the next assault to finish off the Kingdom of Siam. There has been very little support from the Empire of Japan, interestingly enough. So it looks like there we go. Equipment shipments to East Asia. Reichskolonialamt has requested more guns to be sent to the operations. 2,500 infantry equipment. Well, nothing we can do about it. All right. Troops are moving into place. The assault divisions will concentrate north of Bangkok for Unternehmen Derfflinger, the capture of Chiang Mai, the mountain capital of Siam, and finally the occupation of the Kingdom of Siam, which is a major blow to the East Asian co-prosperity sphere. And it doesn't look like Japan is going to be able to do much about it. In France, have the marine divisions been equipped? They have been equipped. Yes, they have been fully equipped. So we can now launch the assault with the leading marine divisions. Marine divisions have been upgraded, so they have some significant fighting power now. With the marine divisions leading the charge, we are going to begin the assault on the fortified forests in Burgundy, which the problem that we had there was that well, it's all rivers. So we'll see if the marine divisions are going to join in, and their river crossing actually gives them an attack bonus. So across the rivers, these marine divisions are extremely powerful. So with some support, we should be able to destroy the French troops. With some support from the air, we should be able to destroy the French troops. There is a lot of them, but we need to take this position in order to sort out the supply for the Besançon front line, and air power is going to do the rest. But the Marines are pushing across the river line and doing what they've been trained to do. We've got a Swiss division arriving that'll be thrown into the Foreign Legion at some point. And even the Cubans are now sending us material, so the German industry needs to get its act together. Which we'll watch the Marines. We'll watch the Marines fight first, but. Yeah, the first French defenders get pushed back. They thought that their river positions were unassailable, but the specialized marine divisions are managing to get across. However, It is costing them. It is costing them. So we will see what the losses are in this fight. This was a well-fortified French position, hardened bunkers among forest lines behind a river line. The Marines can cross the river with more modern combat techniques, and we have taken the position. But I think it has been a somewhat costly fight. We have lost 1,500 men out of the Marine divisions doing this push across the river, which is one of the reasons why I'm starting to build hardened vehicles, such that the men don't have to do this under fire directly, but at least have some option of getting through there. So with that, we should be seeing more supply flowing from Mulhouse. And we will let the Marines recover, but I think now we can move regular troops potentially into the line north, threaten Besançon, which is not a supply hub. However, we can threaten Besançon and the southern line and move eventually on Dijon if we are redeploying parts of the second Panzer there, and then from that we can create a second pincer to cut off the remaining parts of the French lines there. So I am going to get 3 tank divisions. Let's get the 1st, 4th, and 6th, and we'll bring along 3 motorized divisions, and they will be stationed in the newly captured positions, and they will be leading the charge towards Dijon together with the Marines. And we'll see. Although we do need the Marines north, maybe they can do it without the Marines if they get the momentum to push the French. There are some French tanks employed here. If they get the momentum to push the French across the rivers, the regular infantry might be able to do it. So we'll send them here, and we'll send the Marines north to Sweden to begin planning a naval invasion of Narvik. There we have it. Unternehmen Michael, the naval invasion of Narvik from Trondheim is in the works. We'll see. Maybe we'll see if we can get some port facilities and supply orders constructed in the meantime. But the mountain divisions here are still very much suffering from the lack of supply. We have, I think, a port facility under construction. A port facility is under construction, so that should at least give them some supply. And with the assistance of the Marines, they should be able to take Narvik and finish things off. And I think our rubber trade seems to have completely collapsed with Germany East Asia. I'm not sure what's going on there. There is some trade going through the South China Sea. That is unfortunate. So we do have to cover that, and actually the northern parts as well. We'll cut it off because we can't be everywhere at once. And we've got a couple of Thunder class in reserve, which means that this one does not have the right Gleitgruppe task force. Okay, but we're almost up to strength with these. So hopefully soon we can actually start producing regular destroyers more frequently again. The second Schlachtgeschwader is still waiting for more ships. It is not in the right composition. We need at least 4 capital ships to screen the carriers, and that means we need significantly more destroyers and cruisers here. First is still repairing as well. So yeah, we'll let them repair a little bit longer. They will just have to take the temporary hit on the naval supremacy in the English Channel, where the English are making full use of this and are starting to hunt our ships again. There are some Entente ships. Oh, we've lost 16 transports and 2 destroyers sunk by a British cruiser group. So it is imperative that we get the Schlachtgeschwader out. So I think what I'm going to do then, while the second is a bit understaffed, we'll take one carrier out for now. That leaves me with 3 carriers, 3 capital ships. That's 6. So I would need significantly more cruisers and destroyers. I'm going to scavenge some light forces from the first. So let's grab a couple of destroyers and the cruisers, the Münchens of the first, just to have a capable strike force ready. And with that, once they have joined, we should be able to at least contest the region in the Channel again, because the British immediately start planning a naval invasion of Ireland now that the Hochseeflotte is in port. And we have 3 more tank divisions for Guderian. Very nice. And we are sinking some enemy convoys. How are the troops positioned? Okay, troops are in position in Siam. So they are sufficiently rested. Let's immediately begin the push along the railway line towards the north and take the next supply port. So divisions move, and then we will get the regular infantry to catch up. And the railway is going north through the jungle. So we will just maintain our momentum there until the next supply point in the north, in the jungle here in Lana. Operations beginning. Air combat over Siam. I'm going to need to send. I might need to send something over. Do we currently? Yes, we have 2 tactical bomber wings that aren't really doing anything useful from the 3rd Luftflotte, because they can't also reach Narvik. They might be able to reach Narvik from the Norland airbase, but I think we'll redeploy them to Bangkok, because we now actually control an airport here, and we'll have them take on the Siamese air zone, and I can probably scavenge a few heavy fighters. Do we have 7 heavy fighter wings? I'm gonna get 2 Zerstörergeschwader, and they were just busy clearing out the channel. We get them to the airbase in Siam and also on the Siam air zone. Okay, these are moved. How's the rest of the air war going? In northern France, we have total aerial superiority. British Channel, there's not much left, so we can probably start winding down the amount of heavy fighters deployed here. And take 1, 2, 3 off and start and send them into the northern French air region as well. Do we have a forward airbase? We do, but it's very small. We do not hold the Paris main airport, which is on the other side of the river. So once we take that, I think we'll be in a better position. But we can already send these 3 heavy fighter group wings to Amiens. That at least gives them a little bit more space to operate. And yeah, other than that, we don't really have any space. All right, has the second been reinforced? We're waiting for that. Okay, that looks better. So now we've got 3 carriers, 3 capital ships, 13 light cruisers, and 15 destroyers. So they can be back on strike force duty, and we'll probably be joining this relatively soon here, hopefully. They're still officially repairing. That's why. Which means we're probably going to have to detach everything. Yeah, that's the problem of not running with auto detach, because part of them are still repairing, which means the whole Schlachtgeschwader is it's a little gamble, really. Either you detach the forces, and we're going to get a new task force, and that is going to be the we call it the 3rd Schlachtgeschwader. There we go. So we've got the 3rd Schlachtgeschwader now, while the rest of the ships is repairing. If you're not splitting off, then that's something you're going to have to do. But once you see them engage, yeah, they're immediately sailing out to engage. And are we going to see our first carrier battle? No, the British have immediately retreated to port. But that should prevent further losses to our convoys. We are sinking a couple of submarines here and enemy destroyers, but hopefully that'll curb the losses to the convoys and get the British push the British back into port and stop any kind of attempts at naval invasions in Ireland. All right, so that's sorted out. Another tank division that goes to Guderian, and I think that should have been it. He should be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, one more probably. He does need a couple of fast divisions to keep up with them, but we'll send them over to the front lines for now. And we have another railway gun, and that needs a name. And we are going to call that Elise. There we go. Now, where do we need additional railway guns? We've got one. The Kaiser Friedrich has been deployed north of Paris and has been bombarding Paris. We've got the Kaiser Wilhelm in the Belfort region to assist. So I think we're actually good on this front. We should have a few on the eastern front as well. There's the Karl, which is covering the whole Ukrainian flank here, which seems to be holding for now. We've got the Schwerer Gustav, which is covering the north, and I think that was all of them. So, do we need one in Sweden to bombard Narvik? That might be an interesting question. I don't think we'll need that much firepower. And it looks like Sweden is actually managing to push the Russians back into Finland, which is good. But I mean, we don't really have another place where we need it right now. So we'll send it to support Unternehmen Michael, railway battery towards the north of Narvik. By the time it gets there, we should actually have supply as well. Now, is the eastern flank holding? Is the next good question. We are seeing Russian assaults across the river lines here, but they are going. Despite the fact that they are attacking across the river, they are severely powerful, and the enemy air force obviously doesn't help either. But it looks like so far we are holding. We are holding here. The big onslaughts have been stopped. And it might be that the Russians are changing the Schwerpunkt, but it looks also that they have sent some tank divisions to assault Riga. That is an interesting one. We can't actually we can pierce the Russian tanks somewhat, but how much armor do these have? They have 55 armor, and we've got 29 piercing. Yeah, so we've got partial piercing on the tanks, but not much. So we might need to improve our situation when it comes to dealing with enemy tanks, because the AA guns and the artillery don't cut it. But it looks like in general the Russian front has kind of calmed down a little bit at this point. The Russians have overrun the eastern part of Ukraine, but we've stopped them on the Kiev-Kherson line, which we can shorten. But combat engineering is still working to improve it. However, we do need to sort out the trade situation. Okay, what had actually happened here is that we had a lot of equipment being brought in from East Asia, and the decision by the Ministry of Transport to prioritize shipping of incoming war material over shipping of raw resources has starved the German economy. So that was generally not a particularly wise decision. So we are stopping that. Meanwhile, in France, we have, I think, the divisions in place that we can. We've got 3 tank divisions here that we can start pushing towards Dijon as part of Unternehmen Wiesel. Unternehmen Wiesel Nord and Süd, North and South, are now preparing the pincer. through the town of Troyes, across the river line towards Dijon. So the tanks in the north are going to start rolling, and the tanks in the south, okay, the Marines definitely need to take the railway. They are not going to be there anytime soon otherwise. The tanks in the south are not yet, are still getting in position. Okay, so the southern flank is still getting in position. So we'll just improve our position north, and we will make our way towards the town of Troyes, getting ready for the push. The Kaiser, the leader of the German Empire, has died. He had been getting on in age, and our Kaiser Wilhelm II has died of a pulmonary embolism in the Charité Hospital in Berlin today. It is the end of an age. Wilhelm II was one of the last European monarchs who reigned during the 19th century, and his whole life he tried to uphold, sometimes succeeding, often failing, the values that he identified with that era. With his death, the 20th century will at last be fully upon us. All over the empire, flags are flying at half-mast, and public ceremonies are being organized to honor the Weltkriegskaiser, the Kaiser who won the world for Germany. One of the onlookers in Berlin is Kronprinz Friedrich Wilhelm, who will now have to uphold the honor of the Kaiserreich in the world. Long live Kaiser Wilhelm III. So, the son of the Kaiser is now in power. And yes, the Kaiser was the one trying to uphold the values of the empire, the old 19th century empire. And in his last days, it increasingly hasn't looked like the empire of old anymore. It's a very different Germany now. It is an assertive state that sees the Kaiser increasingly as, I wouldn't say a relic. We're still one empire under the Kaiser, but a lot of change has been made to do away with the supporting structures of old, to do away with the squabbling nobles, to do away with the Junkers who were holding back agricultural production in the east, to do away with the various socialist, syndicalist, and other radical movements in the north, to do away with the obstinate Bavarians in the south, to unify the country and to weather the storm that has come from two sides. And now, still under the Kaiser, but on a very different Germany, German troops are once again standing in Paris, and French troops are retreating. So we are going to see a repeat of the Weltkrieg, but the German Empire that is running it today is a very, very different one. And with that, I'll leave you until next time. Thank you.